Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all for coming. And on behalf of myself and my other co-organizers and the rest of the team, I would like to thank you all for not just coming out here today, but really coming together for the community itself and the entrepreneurs here that are presenting today and everybody else that consistently comes on a consistent manner. Let's get rid of some of these tunes. If you're lucky, Rick might do a dance for you, though, so watch out. Just real quick, who here is their first time here? A couple people? Oh, okay, a lot of people. And who here owns a business? Lots of people. Excellent. Okay, great. So just a couple quick things before I introduce our next speaker. If you can all remember to, when we do our Q&A, we're going to do 2 Q&As for those of you who are not familiar with our format. If you could stand up from your chair and then take the mic to your chin. We're recording all of this, and it'll all be put on live stream and on YouTube. Without further ado, it's my pleasure to announce our first speaker. It's NK with RefineM Consulting.
Hello. Good morning. How are you today? Let my presentation come up. So, okay, not this one. We need to go to the first slide. He's already done, you know. Okay, my name is NK Shirvastava. I am CEO of RefineM. I started this company about 2 years ago. And before this, I spent about 20 years managing different kind of projects in different companies. Good enough for now. You can talk to me if you want to know more about me after this. They have given me only 6 minutes. What a project is. Let's set the context. A temporary endeavor undertaken to create a service, product, or result. It has a definite start and a definite end. That's very important. Anything that is ongoing is not a project. Like it has a start, it has a middle, and the end. So you know what is the characteristics of a project. Okay. So what we do at RefineM, we do management, process improvement, and consulting training. Those are things. And our mission is to help organizations turn their project management capability into competitive advantage, and I will tell you how. What we do, we provide consulting, we provide training, we provide tools, and we provide resources. So you deliver on your projects. Why we are in this business? This is very important to understand. State of project management today is the demand for project management is growing. By 2020, there will be additional 11 million project managers needed. 11 million. That's a big number, right? On the other hand, the research also says 70% of the projects fail. So there's a huge gap between the capability and the demand. Let's try to understand why this demand is increasing. What is driving it? What is driving it is changes. We all know that changes are happening in environment, and the organizations have to respond to those changes. They create strategies. Then strategies lead to initiatives, and initiatives drive projects. You do projects to implement those strategies. So you can see the connection here, changes, strategies, initiative, projects. That's how projects are related to changes. And changes are happening even faster than before. Whatever changes happened in last 10 years are much more than what happened the previous 10 years. That is what is driving it. So more changes, more projects. That's the relationship you need to understand, why the demand is increasing. And it's not going to decrease. The changes are going to go even faster. Organizations have to respond even faster. On the other side, why capability is trailing? Why it's not able to match up? The first is project management is hard. It's very hard. It's very complex. The project manager need to juggle many balls. If somebody can count the balls here, He's a genius. Okay, so that's one reason. Second reason is that it needs both brains. We have two brains, right? The left brain and the right brain. The left brain is more scientific, more logical reasoning, and the right is more perception, intuition. So there are components of project management that need the left side of the brain, and there are components of the project management that need right side of the brain. And then there are risks, which need both sides of the brain. So let's do this in 5 seconds. Tell me, think about it. Are you left-brained or right-brained? Think about it. Okay, now it is interesting. If you answered this question with logic, you're left-brained. Okay, many of you would have thought you are right-brained, and you would have applied logic to that. But if you did that, you're left-brained. Okay, that's how it goes. So this, and it is very difficult to find people with both brain developed equally or highly. So people with more scientific, they can do scope, time, cost. They cannot do the other part, the people aspects. So that's the trouble. Okay, so how do we bridge this gap? The very first thing is simplify the process. If the process is simplified, learning is easy, so the capability can improve. The second part is go lean. Use only the processes that are valuable, not all or many processes. So cut down on processes, which are very essential. The third is create more learning opportunities by providing knowledge, which is free. Don't charge for knowledge. And also learning or training opportunities. And this all need to happen very quickly, very fast, because the gap is increasing every day. You have to catch up with the gap. So if this doesn't happen fast, then gaps keep increasing. So this is exactly what we do at RefineM. The 3 things that I listed above. That's what we do at RefineM. We build tools, we refine processes, and we create learning opportunities for project managers. So they can deliver the projects with like products or service or whatever in a very short time frame. Speed to market is a key. If you cannot turn around things faster, you are behind. So that's what the project management can do for your business. So if project management is done well, you have improved communication. Not like this. Okay. You have better risk management so that your projects are finished in time with high quality and things like that. And it also promotes a very high level of teamwork. So everybody is on the same side of the, they are not on different sides. At this point, I would like to thank our customers. In last 2 years, we are able to work with many customers in our area and also outside our area. We had several our partners and association that helped us. eFactory, I have an office over here. This is a beautiful place. A SCORE that provided me mentorship. My mentor is sitting here, John. He's been guiding me for last 2 years. And of course, my team. We have a very small team. I have Philip George sitting over here. He is a project manager. He helps me on my projects. And I have Mary Cooksey sitting over here, and she helps me in marketing. So we have a very small team, but we are doing great. We have been here for 2 years, and things are looking really, really very good. So when I started this 2 years ago, my goal in the first year was that I should not take any money from my savings and should get the same money that I was getting from my job. That was difficult. I was working in a very senior position. I was working as vice president in a software company. They were paying me well. So that's the goal I set, and I met that goal in the first year without borrowing any money from anybody. The second year goal was to increase it by 50%. And that was also, I actually increased it by 80%. And this year, my goal is to increase by another 50%. And so far, in first 3 months, we have done really very, very well. And we are on the same, on the similar kind of pattern. I think we will be able to do more than 50% this year. That is all from my side. If you want to know more about my company, what we do, go to our website. Here is our website, RefineM. And as I was telling you, we have services, we have lots of training that we do. And the trainings are all, okay, whatever. And we recently, for the tools, we recently launched we are going to launch a product, our first product, which is called as Essential Gear for Project Managers. It is based on the first two things, simplifying the process and limiting the processes. So it describes about 8 processes. And from my experience, I can tell if you do these 8 processes well and consistently, your project will never ever fail. So if you want to know more about that project, there's a brochure outside sitting. We will be releasing the product on 22nd April. On 23rd April, we are doing a little event here in this room from 4 to 6 p.m. So come join us for that, and we'll be announcing that, and we'll be sending emails about it. I'm done.
All right, folks, we'll open up the floor for question and answer. Just raise your hand if you have a question.
Yes.
How important is it that you know your industry, or the industry that you're working with? Or is there a certain industry that you specialize in?
It is important to know the industry, but is not required. Project management is a discipline in itself. So it's like, for example, I'll tell you, accounting. You don't need to know the industry to do accounting. But if you know the industry, you can do a little better, right? So project management is very similar. It can be applied to any industry, any segment, any market. But if you know that, there is one thing what is called as when you create a project plan, you create something called as work breakdown structure, where you list down what all work you have to perform to accomplish the project. That is the key for the industry. It is, if you know the industry, you create WBS. But if you don't know that, there are experts who can help you to create WBS. Once it is created, it is all same. Yes?
You were a high-paid executive with a software development company.
Why did you leave? I was working in that company for, I worked for 13 years. And in last couple of years, I was feeling that I'm not growing. The company was not growing. I reached to the topmost level. I was reporting to the owner of the company. It was a small company. That was a very comfortable place for me. They were paying me well, they were respecting me, and I had a lot of freedom. But when I started looking for next 20 years, that tells me, oh, I'm going to be just here. So looking for career, looking for growth, and what I can contribute to the community and to the project management profession, I decided to quit. I could have picked up another high senior position in a company, but that would not let me go out and work with multiple companies. So I decided to go on my own. It was very risky. It was very, very risky at that time. 2 years ago, the economy was worse than what it is today. And in fact, somebody asked me a question that, NK, you had a very good job. Why did you leave? And you just sent your daughter to college. You know, my daughter went to college in fall of 2011. So I replied to her, see, economy is going to be like this for next several years. It's not going to boom, so quickly. It's going to be like up and down, up and down. My daughter has gone to college. She wants to do medical school. Nothing changes for next 8-10 years. Okay. My son goes to that time 6th grade, so he'll be in school system for next 6-7 years. So nothing is changing for next 6, 7 years. What should I wait for?
NK,
Yes.
hi,
Yeah.
how are you?
Yes, very good, Jeff.
I have inside information, but I was hoping you could explain the certification process and the relationship to the Project Management Institute and why that's important.
Very good. Thank you. I will. So there are various certifications that you can do in project management and to basically gain more knowledge and also improve your chances for getting better jobs. So PMI, called as Project Management Institute, is the one that is a kind of authority or a body that is very well recognized all over the world for distributing project management knowledge. So they have various certifications. The most high-ranking certification or most common, most popular certification is PMP, Project Management Professional. There are 650,000 people with that certification, and that's growing. That's a kind of a certification that is almost needed for any job that you apply for project management. And then you have other certification like Agile certification. There is a risk management certification. So there are various certifications. And Jeff, I'm very happy that you asked that question. MDI has just started doing training on those certifications, classes on those certifications. You need a lot of preparation to pass those exams. Those are not trivial exams. It is very difficult exam. And it gives you a lot of edge over others. So if you have, if you want to pursue your career in project management, look at those certifications. Okay. Any other? Yes. You need mine?
With respect to essential gear, is that essentially going to be a CRM software, and do you write it?
First of all, it is not a software. Essential Gear for Project Manager is not a software. It's a toolkit. It consists of 8 processes, the description of those processes, and the templates that you can use. There's a handbook that comes with this. So this is a very basic tool. Once again, simplifying it, this is not a software. On some day, I may create software, but I didn't want to, go to a bank and get some loan and do all that. I wanted to keep it very simple. So it's a very simple toolkit. You can download from the website starting 22nd April, and it will be priced not very high. I have not yet decided the price. But this is the week when I'm going to decide about that. But it comes with a booklet, best practices, pitfalls, and the templates that you can use right away. And it will, if you are a company that is trying to establish project management processes, instead of struggling for trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, you just get started with this. And then you can add or delete or modify or whatever you want to do. It will give you a kind of a 3 or 6 months advancement in the whole process.
So it's more of a framework.
It's a framework with templates and a guide. Yeah. Yes. 2 hands go up.
So you have the framework. What I'm curious about is, you don't have a software or cloud-based platform that people can manage the projects on? Do you recommend, or do you have your companies use a certain software or project management tool?
Yeah, there are actually, if you go and look, there are hundreds of software packages. And based on your need, you can pick whatever you want to pick. And if you talk to me afterwards, I can provide some guidance on that. But this is not the software as of now. It is a set of templates and how to use those templates. And if you are looking for a tool, then you can talk to me later on and I can tell you what tools are maybe good fit for you. Yes?
NK, you mentioned that you utilize a score mentor. Could you speak a little bit more to that and whether or not you find value in it?
Oh, yeah, that's very valuable. Very valuable. John is sitting over there. He's my mentor. And when I met him for the first time, I was not knowing how SCORE will give me a mentor. And when I met him for the first time and wanted to know his background was in project management. So he really got what I was trying to do. That was a key thing because he was from the same industry, same thing what I was trying to do. He was very helpful in the beginning, and he guided me how to do things, how to proceed. Now also, when I have questions, we meet once a month, in Brahms, in Nixa. That's our place to meet. Yeah, I'll pick up coffee, or he'll pick up something, and we'll just sit down and talk for an hour or so. And it's so beneficial. It's so beneficial. I really thank SCORE for that.
And Kay, I have a question for you. How do you charge, and what are your fee structures like?
Basically, we charge in two ways. One is the time and material. So we say, okay, this is a consulting assignment. This is a time and material, and we go and define the scope at a high level and set certain milestone deliverables. And as those are achieved, we charge based on the hourly rate. The second model is a fixed cost. So on the fixed cost model, you say, okay, this is what you want to establish. And we come up and do a little bit more due diligence in the beginning to define the scope and put a cost on that. That's how we do the consulting. Training is almost there are two kinds of training. One is public training. So if you go on our website, you can see there are a lot of public trainings. So you register as an individual, and there is a fee associated with each training. So you pay that fee, and you get registered for that. Then there are corporate trainings. Now, corporate trainings are highly customized. So we go talk to the customer or potential customer, and they say, okay, this is the training they want to have, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, or whatever number of days. And based on what they need, I give them a fixed cost quote. So that's how I charge. If you want to know my hourly rate, come back, talk to me afterwards. I will tell you. Very happy to tell you. Anybody has any other question? Yes.
Thank you, NK. I was just curious about your customer base breakdown. Is it mostly geared toward government, corporate, new businesses? Who are your clients and customers?
Let's go back to the slide that has the customers. If we can, very quickly, you can see the profile of my customers. No. Yeah, here it is. So most of my customers, you can see none of the customers are government. When the first two customers are the insurance companies, very large insurance companies, multi-million-dollar insurance companies, and I have been consulting with them for over 12 years, even before I started RefineM. So I do process improvement and project management support, and they have actually, they were the companies that encouraged me, kind of thing, that they had their support when I started. So my first projects were with NPAC and Farm Family. And then when I was looking for other jobs or the opportunities, OTC, workforce development came. I don't know if Sherry is over here. But she provided me an opportunity to teach some of their classes. I taught tracker marine boats, Central State Industrial through OTC. And then Classy Llama is a software company. If there is anybody from Classy Llama over here. And I have been teaching them Agile, which is one of the way to manage projects. They are a software company. HCA Healthcare is a hospital. They have hospitals all over the country. They are based in Kansas City. And I basically taught them PMP, exam prep class. And they wanted to get their people certified. CSI also, I just finished a training this Monday, teaching their project managers PMP exam prep class. So Conway is, they attended one of my trainings, and I'm just signing another contract with them, and I'll be teaching Agile to them for next month or so. MDI, I have a contract with MDI to teach PMP certification. Ventrac is another company, a telecom company. So you can see the mix. They are from very small companies to very large companies. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
That was
Yes.
If you got a project that you think might need project management, do you provide any kind of initial consultation to review it to see whether it would be beneficial to go with your company?
Yes, yes,
okay.
definitely. And if you are trying to find out, you are in a very initial stage trying to set up the things, and yeah, definitely we can help you in getting that project going. Yeah, definitely. That will be, and I think this the project management discipline is very useful for startups. Startups, they normally lack discipline. With the project management, they can get discipline. Think about you have taken loan from the bank for whatever number, let's say $200,000 or whatever, and you want to get your revenue coming to you, right? You want to start that revenue coming in so you can pay. But if your revenue get delayed, then you get delayed in making the payment, and then whole equation goes down. Any other?
Yes, yes. I can really see where your services are essential. Not only like with hospitals. Say, for instance, they want to initiate these new software programs, and they're trying to promote people from, say, nurses, the nursing industry, into the implementing software and training and that kind of thing. And they're just simply not set up to do that. Or somebody is building a factory.
Absolutely.
And you might be dealing with the economic development people. There's taxes to be concerned with, and the banker.
Mm-hmm.
And if you end up wasting money, there goes your capital investment, and that's why we have so many people fail. And so you've got a good product there.
Thank you. And just a test here. How many people do projects? How many raise hands? Yeah. This side does more projects than this side.
Left or right brain?
Left or right brain, Yes.
So am I correct in understanding that your business actually has two sides? One, you consult directly with clients, and two, you teach people to become certified project managers?
Yes, yes. In fact, actually, there are more than two components, and I wanted to talk about that. How do I want to scale my business? And there are 4 components of my business. One is consulting and training, which is basically consult organizations on project management and then train. And then products is another thing. The Essential Gear is my first product that is getting launched on 22nd. I have 3 more products in the line that I should be launching in next couple of years. And then I created a lot of intellectual property in last 2 years, like course material for all these different kind of trainings. And I found a market for those. I can license them. I don't have to teach myself. I can go and license. There are a lot of people, a lot of organizations who want training, but they don't have the course materials to teach. So I licensed the course material to 2 organizations in last year. And I think that's a very good market for me to find out how can I license my course material. And then the very new thing I am adding in next quarter is the software refinements, software services, software transformations. And I'm starting one in next couple of months. So that's my another part of the business. So with one thing, probably it's difficult to grow fast.
Well, NK, we're just out of time. The last question we always wrap up with is how can we as a community help you? That's good. Well, thank you very much, NK.
You can help me a lot, okay? So help increase awareness of project management in the area. And you can you can invite me to your organization to talk about project management. I do that free of cost. So if you want to have other people in your organization want to know project management, I can go and deliver a kind of half an hour presentation. You can visit my website and get free access to ever-growing project management knowledge. So there is a knowledge base in my project, my site. You can go, you can download PowerPoints, templates, articles, No, that's all free. What I need from you is your contact information, so I can send you more information. Sign up for my monthly newsletter, and go to local PMI website and join the local chapter. There's a local chapter, and give me an opportunity to work with you, and send your staff for my trainings.
Thanks, NK. Those of us involved with 1 Million Cups, we might need his services here at some point. Hey, a couple of quick announcements. The Springfield Collective, which is a network for creatives, meeting tomorrow at the Coffee Ethic at 9 a.m. This is a bi-monthly meeting, and check their Facebook page if you want more information on that. Also, a new thing is starting. Spin 66 Innovation Summit is coming, or is going to launch on May 5th, and that is sponsored by Mercy R&D and here at the E-Factory. Is that right, Brian? If you have any questions on that, please go to spin66.org or Cody Stringer at Mercy R&D. And this is an innovation summit. There, oh, right there. We'll be providing more information on this as we get closer to that launch date. Also, the MATA group is meets every month, the second Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. If you have any other things going on that support entrepreneurs, please let one of us know, Rick, Devin, myself, or Chad, so we can get this on our schedule. Also, ladies in the back, we've got a couple of chairs up here if anybody wants to get off the heels and sit down. Our next presenter is Richard Forsyth with Alitin, and I think this is going to be really informative.
Hey, everyone. Got a lot of things in my hands here. Let me just set this down. Let you walk. Okay. All right, everybody. I'm Richard Forsyth. I'm here with Alitin Inc. Actually, I'm here representing one of our interests, Alitin Exchange. We actually have several. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but we're going to be talking about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and the exchange market. Now, some of you have heard about Bitcoin. Some of you have heard about cryptocurrency in general. This is my CV in brief. I don't really have a lot of time to talk about this, but I wear a lot of hats at the company. I do a lot of different things. I actually got an MBA here at Missouri State University. My degree actually brought me to Springfield. I was previously in St. Louis. I'm originally from Canada. I actually have family in the area, and so that was another perk. But so this is my company. Alitin Inc. Controls all these companies. Some of these are going concerns, and some of them are startups. Ambicard is my first company in the payments industry. It's a hybrid credit card, debit card that we market to community and regional banks, and it's a really fun program. You can check it out at ambicard.com. Today we're talking about Alitin Exchange. Alitin Mint is also going concern. We actually sell physical Bitcoins, and I brought one here with me if anyone wants to see it. But in the interest of time, let's move on. So let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin, there's a lot of misinformation about Bitcoin. And if you'll Google Bitcoin, you'll get a lot of images. You get a lot of pictures of stacks of coins. Bitcoin is not a physical thing, really. Bitcoin is a digital payment system. This is a picture you often see of Bitcoins. There are people who sell physical Bitcoins. I sell physical Bitcoins as well. But Bitcoin is a digital monetary system. I've actually prepared my remarks about Bitcoin since I don't really have a lot of time. Some of you have probably heard about Bitcoin. Some of you may think some things about Bitcoin that aren't true. Some of you may know quite a bit about Bitcoin, but I'm going to talk from the least common denominator in that regard. According to Mark Andreessen, I don't know if that's a very familiar name around here, but he is considered one of the inventors of the internet. He actually founded the first web browser. He has called recently in a New York Times article Bitcoin the greatest tech innovation since the internet in 1993. Bill Gates actually calls it a technological powerhouse. Ben Bernanke says it's a payment system that has a lot of potential. It's a breakthrough in computer science, one that builds on 20 years of research into cryptographic currency and 40 years of research in cryptography by thousands of researchers around the world. Bitcoin is the first practical solution to the question of how to establish trust between otherwise unrelated parties over an untrusted network like the internet. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general give us, for the first time, a way for one internet user to transfer a unique piece of digital property to another internet user, such that the transfer is guaranteed to be safe and secure. Everyone knows that the transfer has taken place, and nobody can challenge the legitimacy of the transfer. So that's what Bitcoin does. But what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is an internet-wide distributed ledger that tracks units of stored value. In other terms, Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency with a total money supply currently valued at nearly $7 billion. The currency has no central issuer. Instead, the peer-to-peer network verifies its own transactions and regulates the system to keep it secure. The key to understanding Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is a digital ledger. Bitcoins, or the units of value that people trade called Bitcoins, are simply ledger entries. Private ownership of a Bitcoin involves access to a public address and a private key. The address is where the Bitcoins are stored, and you must have the private key to gain access to the Bitcoins associated with an address. Physical Bitcoins are simply pieces of round metal, as we saw in that picture, with public addresses and private keys included. Bitcoins are digital bearer instruments. The term cryptocurrency, by the way, comes from the encryption of the ledger, or blockchain as it's called, and the process of mining, which is the collective of voluntary participants who supply their computational power to give the ledger or blockchain its functionality. Let's move on. So the Bitcoin market, what a Bitcoin exchange is a Bitcoin exchange is a marketplace where people can buy and sell Bitcoins. Some Bitcoin exchanges also provide other services. The first of the Bitcoin exchanges is Silk Road. They got shut down for non-compliance with government rules. They actually kind of thumbed their nose at government compliance, and they were involved in a lot of illegal activity. And I should mention that these exchanges, these are private entities. These are third parties. They are not Bitcoin themselves. In a lot of news articles I've read, a lot of people have associated these companies with Bitcoin directly. Bitcoin is not a company. Bitcoin is more of a movement. It's a network. Matter of fact, it's the biggest network in the world. The Bitcoin network is greater, has more computational power than the top 500 supercomputers combined. Sorry, I should go back. Mt. Gox actually was the biggest exchange. At its height, it was churning around $4 to $8 million a month in Bitcoin activity. Bitcoin related revenue. The biggest market leader right now is Coinbase. Coinbase is actually not an exchange. It's actually a Bitcoin and cryptocurrency broker. CampBX is an American-based exchange, but they're having trouble with funds acquisition and also legality. Kraken is a German-based exchange, and they're also having trouble bringing in US dollars. Cryptsy is an exchange that only deals in cryptocurrency and cannot accept fiat currency. And CoinSitter is an exchange that has not opened yet. They're trying to open, but they're having trouble with funds acquisition. And they are based in New York City, and they're only going to be available for institutions. So the Bitcoin exchange market is kind of an empty one. There aren't a lot of competitors, and there are especially not a lot of exchanges that can take in US funds or fiat currency in general. So let's talk about Alitin Exchange. Alitin Exchange is going to change the Bitcoin exchange market because of some of the things we're going to be able to do that others do not. One of the first things I want to emphasize, and where other exchanges have gone awry, is compliance. We are compliance experts. I am a compliance expert. Alitin Exchange is licensed, registered, and we have robust KYC, AML, BSA compliance approach and software. We actually use the same client onboarding process as Google Wallet, actually, and it's very extensive. We are also going to be taking in US funds, unlike our competitors. We will be accepting direct bank transfers through the ACH network. And we are also going to be offering FDIC insured deposits. We're going to be putting together, what we've put together over the last 3 years, we've been building our software. It's a Wall Street style exchange with advanced controls and analytics, which will permit high frequency trades, short selling, margin trading, flexible order fulfillment options. We are going to, what we have is a system that features military grade security, and that's kind of a mouthful, but this is security you can bet your life on. Previous exchanges have gone down because of security breaches, because of non-compliance. Those are our strengths. We're going to be offering instant trades, frequent security and ledger audits, encrypted backups with comprehensive disaster recovery plan. I mentioned the FDIC insured deposits. Strong banking relationships. You know, one of the businesses that I've been working on since I finished business school is a company that offers a hybrid credit debit card, and because of our relationship with banks, we're able to get into the ACH funds acquisition for our exchange, and that's one of the big advantages we have over our competitor exchanges, and so that'll really set us apart. We are working on CC acquisition, credit card acquisition, and internationalization. We have a plan that within the first year we will be able to offer our services to everyone in North America and Western Europe as well. I am running about out of time, but here is a preview of our software. Like I said, we've been working on this for about 3 years. We spent almost about $500,000 on this. This is an example of what it would look like when you log into our exchange. You can see the Bitcoin balance here. We're also going to be offering exchange in altcoin. For those of you who are familiar with Bitcoin, there are derivatives off of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an open source system, and so you can look at the data, you can look at the coding, you can see if there's anything fishy in there, you can see if there's anything unexpected, but you can also use it and copy it and base another cryptocurrency on it, and there are about 50 of them now. We're going to be trading in a variety of the bigger cryptocurrencies when we launch, and we're going to be adding more and more cryptocurrencies to our pool of available trading currencies. So, you know, last time I gave this presentation, I had about 2 hours, so I'm kind of running through this pretty quickly. This is a view of our site where you upload funds using your bank. But anyway, that's Alitin Exchange. That's about the fastest 6-7 minutes of my life. So
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I know that was a lot. I said a lot there. There are a lot of things I probably skipped. For those of you who are familiar with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, there's a lot to it. I wanted to just hit the highlights. You got a question?
Yeah. What's the implication of the SEC ruling on how Bitcoin?
SEC versus Shavers. That's a Texas case. Or SEC or IRS? I'm sorry, IRS. IRS, okay. Good question. Everyone's a buzz about that. The IRS has basically said that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is going to be taxed as property. It's going to get capital gains treatment. The implications are that people are going to have to keep track of the price at which they acquired their cryptocurrency, and they're going to have to make calculations for when they cash it out. But you know, right now the cryptocurrency market is, you know, it's basically fiat currency in and not a lot of cryptocurrency out. Not a lot of people are cashing out their cryptocurrency and triggering that capital gains event. So I'm kind of curious about how the IRS plans on A, enforcing this, and B, you know, how much, I mean, voluntary cooperation there's going to be on a private level. On an institutional level, it means that we're going to have to add a component to our software, which we will, which will help people track their tax base, their taxes due, their capital gains treatment, and so forth with their acquisition of Bitcoin. But it's the kind of thing that right now there are already lawsuits brewing and calls for you know, either clarification, reclarification, because this was supposed to be clarification, but clarification or a change in IRS laws. With regards to the SEC recently held a case versus a guy named Shavers in Texas who was issuing cryptocurrency-based securities, and the SEC has ruled that cryptocurrency is, strangely enough, a currency, where you have the IRS calling it a property, you have FinCEN calling it a currency, and then you have the CFTC calling it a commodity. And so right now the regulatory environment is kind of an interesting one.
Yeah, Richard, I would like for you to tell us a little bit about perhaps the possibilities for Bitcoin financing in a non-brokered money raise. Like, I know many of the people in the room are startups and they're always concerned about how to raise money.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that Bitcoin would be an alternate source that falls outside of the realm of common financial arrangements that we're all used to doing through brokers.
It sure is. You know, Bitcoin, well, cryptocurrency has a lot of really neat, it brings a lot of really neat innovations with it because of what it's able to accomplish. One of those, of course, is public funding. In order to acquire funds through Bitcoin, all you have to do is display your public address. And you can display it, it's a list of you know, 31 to 33 characters. That's kind of a lot to remember. You can also present it in a QR form. So if you're on TV or if you have a website or if you have a business card, you can put that on there and anyone can pay you directly by transferring their Bitcoins or their cryptocurrency to that address. And so it's a very easy way of acquiring funds. It's also a really neat way of promoting a drive and acquiring funds through that method. One of the businesses that you saw on my list is called Infuser. It's a startup that we're working on right now. Its entire purpose is to promote public funding through cryptocurrency. And it's going to be combining the power of social networking with public funding. And so that's something that we're very keyed into. Oh, you know, another thing I should mention about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, only about 20% of the world has access to modern financial instruments, banking, payment systems. Most of the world is way out of the loop, and they're missing out, and they're being held back, and they're not even close. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, exchanges, these products have the potential to bring modern finance to the third world, because it'll go anywhere the internet will go. And it's basically fee-free, or if there's a fee, it's going to be in the 1,000th or 1/10,000th of a penny, so it's extremely cheap. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm new to the whole Bitcoin thing.
Yeah.
Essentially, is it more like PayPal on steroids, or is it like a investment vehicle, like similar to like currency futures, or what exactly can it be?
What Bitcoin really is it's a ledger with ledger entries. If you have a Bitcoin, you have an entry on that ledger. So what is Bitcoin? How is it a valuable thing? Well, it's a valuable thing because of what it accomplishes. It's a decentralized, distributed payment network. Its value is based on the network effect. So the fact that people use it gives it value. Bitcoin has, I guess you could say, it's right now it's actually trading around $500. Now consider that one Bitcoin 2 years ago was about $13, and a year previous to that it was in the pennies or fractions of pennies. Bitcoin has been rising ever since its inception, and this is 100% based on the community, on what it does, who uses it, and what they use it for. Go ahead.
Yes, similar to the way that in the late 90s Napster rose and fell, and then after that lots of other music services popped up and became successful. Do you see, given the shutdown, the rise and fall and then shutdown of Silk Road for the exchange of illegal goods and services with Bitcoins, do you see just a rash of that happening in the future with other platforms?
You know, I actually went to a Bitcoin conference in Austin, Texas a couple weeks ago, and there were a number of exchanges opening with absolutely no compliance plans and no funds acquisition plans either. They're just opening, they're just Hail Marying this thing. There are a lot of, you're going to be reading more and more about exchanges going down because of non-compliance and because of lack of anti-money laundering, screening, things like that. The only kinds of exchanges that are going to work in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in general are compliant ones with excellent relationships with the banking community and with great funds acquisition plans. So I expect that there's going to be more of that, but the reason they're going down is, as I've said, they're non-compliant. Whether Bitcoin suffers or succeeds on the basis of the success of exchanges going forward, that's an interesting question. I think that, you know, right now there really aren't very many options. Acquiring Bitcoin is kind of difficult because of the lack of exchange services in the world, in the United States, especially with regards to funds acquisition. Getting US dollars into Bitcoins is challenging. Right now in Springfield, your best bet is there's a guy on Craigslist who will meet you on a corner. And give you some codes. I don't really like that plan, but you know, Bitcoin does need third-party assistance. It does need third-party service and product providers, you know, to give it breadth, to give it, you know, to help it survive. But I do believe that, you know, I recently attended a compliance conference in Miami where I met and talked with the head of the Department of the Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, and also the director of the Office of Foreign Assets Control, and also the director of Homeland Security's Financial Investigations. And they all agree that cryptocurrency, whether it's Bitcoin or some derivative, is here to stay. And it's growing, and it has a ton of potential. So I do expect that whether Bitcoin is the horse that wins the race or not, I do believe cryptocurrency is here to stay and will keep growing. So sites and industries like cryptocurrency exchanges, if they do it right, are going to grow and grow and be here forever. pretty much. So.
Richard, am I to understand that the funds are federally insured as well?
Well, I'll tell you what, when we start our deposits, not all of our deposits will be FDIC insured to begin with. We're going to be offering FDIC insurance for deposits, for certain types of deposits, and that'll be within the first quarter. We're doing a soft launch April 6th, and over that first quarter, we'll be adding a variety of different services and functionality, and throughout the first year, we'll be gearing up. Right now, one of the reasons we're not able to launch with FDIC insurance is that we're still working on some of those partnerships.
Are your other competing exchanges federally insured as well, or
No.
are you going to be the first one to
We'll be the
break
first.
the ground?
Yeah. And we will also be the first, I believe, U.S.-based exchange that will be taking U.S. currency directly. There are a lot of potential questions in that question. Yeah. The first one I would ask you actually to clarify is what limitations about Bitcoin are you particularly addressing?
Just the amount of currency in existence.
Oh, you might be referring to the fact that there are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins. Right now in circulation, there are about 12.75 million Bitcoins. Well, they're divisible by 8 decimal places. So the actual supply of Bitcoin is in the quadrillions. So there's plenty of Bitcoins, number one. Number two, whether Bitcoin suffers because of perception or laws or performance, that's another issue. And there are a lot of moving targets with that.
There's a lot of people in government who like to make it illegal moves, which are
Sure.
to Bitcoin.
Well, one of the interesting things about that, and this is a question we could spend a lot of time on, but the CFTC and a lot of other industries are moving to have Bitcoin recategorized as an e-commodity, an electronic commodity. So it is conceivable, and we've actually there are other businesses who've talked about this, but we're planning to launch a fiat version of Bitcoin, which would allow us to avoid a lot of those issues. Go ahead.
I think it's brilliant and cool and fun, but my question is, when do you think people will trust you with
That's a good question. I think the key to trusting is building relationships with the existing banking community, with doing things like FDIC insured deposits, with better press that will come along with that. Right now there's a lot of misinformation about Bitcoin. A lot of people think Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general is pretty much just used for illegal activities and money laundering and things like that. It's not true. Statistically, there's more legitimate activity in cryptocurrency than illegitimate. Part of the reason why there is a lot of illegal activity is because, without anti-money laundering screening, without anti-fraud, without compliance, without an effort to catch bad guys who are participating in the system, a lot of people are going to be attracted to that. Because it is naturally, without guards, without protection, it is a natural money laundering vehicle. But we aim to bring it into the light of regulation, legality, and legitimacy. And I think that as we can prove that this can be done, I think people will trust it more. As we can show that we're safe, we're secure, then I think that trust will grow. Go ahead.
Yes, and anybody who's in the room and is in business, selling tangible personal property or services such as a telephone company and that kind of thing. I'm a sales tax man, okay? That's what I use. That's my shtick. But think about transaction taxes, even Canada with value-added taxes, sales taxes, use taxes. That money has to come back if there's a transaction. There is a value put on that, and the government wants their share of it.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention that everybody in this room, that is going to be a big concern. And especially coming up is the Marketplace Fairness Act, where it's, click through, and so all of a sudden, if you sell something to somebody in California, you will have to collect California tax. But that's a hurdle I just wanted to mention.
Yeah, well, one of the interesting things right now with the IRS, that was mentioned in the first question, taxing cryptocurrency as property. Look, if you don't have to cash it out to U.S. dollars, use it to pay your bills, use it to pay for your services. Convince your supply chain to take it as well. You won't pay any taxes. And that's not tax avoidance. That's the IRS's rules. That's the way it works right now until they change it. So Bitcoin, accepting Bitcoin and using Bitcoin has a lot of potential advantages if you use it correctly.
It seems to me one of the big challenges in this market is educating the general public, as most of us probably don't know very much. What are kind of your plans, and how big of a role do you see that in being part of your company's strategy in terms of educating the market?
It's a huge thing. In fact, that's why I'm here. I'm here to try to correct misperceptions about cryptocurrency. I'm here to expand thinking on cryptocurrency. I'm here to allay fears about cryptocurrency. Yes, it does have some potential disruptive qualities, but I do believe that it does not have to be violent. It does not have to be a scary thing. I think it can actually be a very beneficial and very exciting thing. So, you have a question?
Yeah. How do you get money from this?
That's a great question. Well, there's a lot of ways. There are a lot of ways, and I could go into that. Matter of fact, my presentation could have been just about that. But at a base level, we charge 1 to 1.5% on a trade. We're also going to be earning interest on our central deposits. And we're also going to be offering a variety of fee-based services. Eventually, throughout this year, we'll be expanding those service offerings. And so we'll be offering a variety of fee-based services for people that will be related to our exchange and related to the use of Bitcoin, the holding of Bitcoin, and things like that. We also have other businesses, like I mentioned, that are kind of related to this. Our physical Bitcoin business, we sell these. We also are owners and distributors of Bitcoin ATM machines, which we are placing throughout the Midwest. Wow. Yeah. So we have kind of a broad spectrum approach with cryptocurrency.
Well, Richard, we're going to wrap up with our last question is, how can we as a community help you?
Well, I'll tell you what, this right here is helping. Just having a chance, having a microphone and a chance to talk to you guys and to answer questions and to address the issues and to dispel rumors, and that's a big thing. Our market is a pretty broad one, but I would like people to understand cryptocurrency better. I'd like people to be less afraid of it and more interested in it and engage in their own investigations. Some of the better places you can go to read about cryptocurrency that aren't sensationalized and misperceived news articles are things like coindesk.org. It's a good one. Coindesk is good. WeUseBitcoin.com is really good. And then BitcoinTalk.org is the world's biggest forum for cryptocurrency discussion. And you're going to get a lot of really great clarification on cryptocurrency there. So thank you, everyone.
That concludes our presentation for today. I'd like to thank Richard and NK both for a great conversation, and I'd like to thank all of you all for coming out. Again this week, we're 5 weeks into this, and it doesn't seem to be letting off. So we have 2 great speakers again next week, so I welcome you all back, and come back and listen to a couple more offerings and have a cup of coffee with us. Thanks for coming.